Pride and Prejudice, chapter 3, first video of this chapter. But before I start chapter 3, I would like to ask you some questions. Remember, you can send me the questions through WhatsApp. You can answer to yourself. Alright. In the beginning of chapter 3, we discovered that Mr. Bennet waited on Mr. Bingley. So what did he do? Answer: he paid a visit to him. Right? It's another way to say it. He visited him to show his respect, like introducing himself formally. Let me see. What do you do to information when you disclose it? Answer: you reveal it. Okay. Question: what can you trim? And in our chapter 2, I think Lizzie was trimming something. What was she trimming? So it's a double question. Answer: you can trim, for example, a beard, right? I hope my beard is trimmed now. I asked my wife to trim my beard from the last video. You can trim a bush, if I'm not wrong. In our Quizlet last chapter, I put a picture of a guy trimming the bush, and Lizzie was trimming her hat. Okay. Question: there was a certain moment Mrs. Bennet started scolding her daughters. Why did she do that? She scolded specifically Kitty. Why did she scold Kitty? Answer: because poor Kitty was coughing, and her mother decided that was too much on her nerves. Question: was it really the cough that was bothering her so much? Answer: no. She was extremely bothered because she thought Mr. Bennet hadn't paid Mr. Bingley a visit yet, and she thought he wouldn't pay him a visit. So that's why she was feeling that way, and the poor daughter suffered because of that. Question: what does it mean if you tell me that you do this lesson fortnight? Answer: you will do this lesson in 14 days, because fortnight is 14 days. Okay. Let me see if I have anything else there. Question: what is a very striking feature of Mr. Bennet when it comes to the way he interacts with his family, mainly his wife? Answer: he's very ironic, right? And he likes to make fun of everybody. Question: who? Now, how did he make fun of his daughter, Kitty? Answer: he told her that she didn't know how to choose the time when she coughs, right? When she coughs, because, and of course he was making fun of his wife as well. Let me see if I have anything else here. Question. Lydia answered stoutly that she was not afraid. That she was not afraid. Yeah, and the question is a double. What wasn't she afraid of, and why stoutly? Meaning, what does it mean? Answer. Stoutly, it means bravely, right? She was very brave, and she was not afraid of dancing with Mr. Bingley. Okay. Well, so I think now we can start on the reading of chapter 3. Chapter 3. Not all that Mrs. Bennet, however, not all that Mrs. Bennet, however, with the assistance of her 5 daughters, could ask on the subject was sufficient to draw from her husband any satisfactory description of Mr. Bingley. They attacked him with various ways, with barefaced questions, ingenious suppositions, and distant surmises, but he eluded the skill of them all, and they were at last obliged to accept the second-hand intelligence of their neighbour Lady Lucas. Her report was highly favourable. Sir William had been delighted with him. He was quite young, wonderfully handsome, extremely agreeable, and to crown the whole, he meant to be at the next assembly with a large party. Nothing could be more delightful. To be fond of dancing was a certain step towards falling in love, and very lively hopes of Mr. Bingley's heart were entertained. Okay, let's go by parts here. First of all, bareface. Look, I didn't put an example there in our Quizlet, just the definition, right? Shameless and noticeable, blatant, bold, unconcealed, having no cover on the face. So let me start by the last definition there, the last part of definition. Bareface is, no cover on the face. That's literally. But if I ask a question, bareface, or I ask a barefaced question, so it means that I go there and say exactly what I want to know. Let's imagine John wants to go out with Edna, and he wants to invite her out. He has 2 options, right? He may try to, get to know her opinions about things and try to discover if she would say yes, right? By, going in indirect ways. Or he could go there barefaced and say, look, I like you and I would like to go out with you. Would you like to go out with me? So barefaced. As a matter of fact, there is an interesting etymological curiosity here. The word sincerity is almost like that. Why? Because sincere, it comes from sen, cera, right? So cera is wax. In reference to what? Like without wax, wax like the wax of a candle. There is Madame Tussauds museum in many places. I think even one here in Brazil, Foz do Iguaçu, where there are models of people made of wax. Well, the point is, so that's wax, right? So in theaters, mainly in Roman theater, actors would wear wax masks, okay? to act there. So if you are without wax, sincera, right? Sincerious, you are going there barefaced. That's the same thing, etymologically speaking. Okay, so first they would go barefaced with barefaced questions. This is another exercise for you. Pause the video for this exercise as you did with the questions. Can you imagine what kind of questions did they ask? I'm referring to the barefaced questions. Answer. Probably they went there and they asked, what does he look like? Is he handsome? Tell me about him. What did you think of his personality? Okay, that was their first strategy, right? Their second strategy, ingenious suppositions. Probably they were making those suppositions in front of their father. So he would say, no, of course not. He's nothing like that. He is like this and that and that. All right. So that's ingenious suppositions. And then I put surmise in our Quizlet. Take a look. Suppose that something is true without having evidence to confirm it. Okay. So very close to suppositions, right? Just one more thing I inserted in our list, and I think it's important. I can talk about a barefaced liar. Okay, a barefaced liar is a little bit different. It is a person that is not ashamed, of lying. Okay, so it's like he goes there open face, with no mask, but he's lying. He's actually wearing a mask, so he's not afraid of lying, right? So I put it here. A barefaced liar is one who displays no shame about lying, even if they are exposed. Right? Okay. Remember that Lady Lucas and Sir Williams have already been mentioned in our story in chapter 1, okay, when Mrs. Bennet is saying, but consider your daughters, only think what an establishment it would be for one of them. Sir William and Lady Lucas are determined to go merely on that account. Okay, remember that part. It's always very interesting to establish those connections. Remember, crown is what a king wears on his head. So you are talking about a perfect job, right? So the salary is very nice. You won't work long hours, and to crown the job, right? To crown the whole thing, trying to get to as close as possible to the construction here. I don't know. To crown the whole thing, they have an excellent cafeteria. I don't know, something like that. Remember, the girls had all of those strategies there to try to get something out of her father, but they couldn't, because the father could elude them all the time. Okay, look, I put a very nice picture of two guys playing, I think it is football, maybe rugby. I confess I really don't know the difference so well, because they're very similar. For me, it seems like rugby is like football without the equipment. So those two guys are playing like football, and but they're not wearing heavy equipment, right? So maybe rugby, and one is just trying, to get the other, but the one that is trying to get the other won't do it, because the one with the ball is eluding, okay? The first one. Formal definition: to escape notice, to get away from, okay? Then I put a nice picture of a crown there, and then we have one more adjective in this paragraph: lively, okay? They had very lively hopes of Mr. Bingley's heart. Lively, I put a bunch of people celebrating, okay, because it's exactly this. So when something is lively, it's full of life and energy, okay. What is my advice before you start the next video? Reread this paragraph, and if you can, reread it through an audio to me, so I can listen to your pronunciation,